If you happen to be browsing Target for your low-cost electronics fix, you may have stumbled upon a point-and-shoot from Heyday boasting 4K video capture capability and 8-megapixel stills. It's usually priced between $60 and $70, and if you look around a bit on eBay, closer to $20. Any camera with a rechargeable lithium-ion battery pack, built-in LED flash, 2.8-inch full-color LCD screen and an 8-megapixel CMOS sensor good for 4K video for $20 is something I'm going to have to investigate further. And so it was that my Flashburn credit card came out of temporary retirement, and a few days later, the Heyday was in my mailbox. Out of the box, the unit goes the extra mile by providing a wrist strap and lens cap, and to my surprise, the camera feels much higher quality in the hand than anticipated. While the body is plastic as to be expected, the camera is decently weighted and all of the buttons provide a very satisfying click when pressed. It does not include a required microSD card, however, and there is virtually no internal storage capacity, so be sure to pick one up with the camera. That 8-megapixel CMOS sensor comes in the form of a camera module, which, like a cell phone camera, contains the lens, sensor and imaging processor all in one self-contained unit. The incredible availability of camera modules explains how manufacturers are able to offer cameras like this at such incredibly low MSRPs. And as any iPhone photographer can attest, their performance is not to be underestimated. The difference is that while cell phone photography is leaning more and more heavily into software to achieve final results, while cameras like this one provide a surprisingly robust selection of controls, all of which are accomplished via intuitive on-screen menus. Now ordinarily, this is the part of the video where I would put a charge on the camera and take it out on the field where I usually use my Sony A7, but after spending overnight on the charger, I came back and removed the included USB-C cord only to find the unit was DOA. A quick search of user reviews on sites like Target revealed that this was a very common problem with these cameras and the reason for many customers returning them as defective. One of the solutions posted by other users was to remove the included NP60 lithium-ion battery pack and to check to make sure the plastic film from the factory was removed before charging. I checked this and even went as far as to give all of the terminals on both the battery and the camera a thorough cleaning to no avail. Frustrated because the camera actually seemed surprisingly capable when plugged in, I too opened a return claim and began packing the unit up to be shipped back. Then, on a whim, I flipped the battery in the opposite direction of the position it had arrived in from the box, and lo and behold, it fired right up and has worked perfectly since. I cannot say with certainty that doing this will fix every Heyday not wanting to work off the charger, but if you find yourself in that situation, it's certainly worth a try as the battery slots perfectly into the camera from either direction and apparently sometimes arrives inserted backward. Thinking about it now, it's probably why so many find their way on sites like eBay customer returns with the battery in backward that end up on a reseller's pallet believed to be defective. All of that said, and now that the camera is functioning as it should, this review that nearly never was yielded some surprisingly decent footage and stills. All of the images and videos shown here are directly out of camera with no editing performed in post. The way I've found to get the most out of cameras like this where software interpolation is used to upscale footage into ridiculously high-resolution video files is to not be tempted by the upper resolution settings. The Heyday can go all the way up to 4K 3840 by 2160, and all the way down to 840 by 480 pixels. Going 4K drops the frame rate down to about 10 frames per second and the end result is barely usable. I have found that the unit's sweet spot is filming at 1080 or even 720p resolution where that 8-megapixel camera can comfortably resolve 30 frames per second. Back to the stills side, despite the box saying it's good for 8-megapixel photos, the maximum resolution available is actually 8000 by 6000 pixels, which equates to a 48-megapixel file, and from there you can select all the way down to 1280 by 960 pixels or a 1-megapixel file. On the still side, there are some surprisingly robust options available, from a dedicated macro mode to smile sense, from fast shooting to half-button focus. You get ISO and white balance control that can, of course, be set to auto, and there are dedicated settings for portraiture, landscape, night shooting, high-speed shutter to free sports and so on. None of this is anything new in the world of point-and-shoots, but it's certainly impressive in a $20 camera. Plus, and to my own surprise, the settings actually make the type of difference usually witnessed in much higher-end hardware. Additionally, you get a selfie timer with a variety of durations, face detect and smile capture, burst mode shooting, adjustment over the digital image stabilization sensitivity. Sadly, because this is a camera module rather than a dedicated lens and sensor combo, the zoom here is strictly digital, though it is 16 power and delivers pretty decent crops for so small a sensor. In the day of digital disposables, sometimes going for $200, I was very pleasantly surprised to discover the little Heyday includes a plethora of internal filters if shooting with effects happens to be your forte. Here you are given normal capture mode, black and white, sepia, red, green or blue tone, sunset saturation, warm tones, cool tones, overexposure, infrared, binary contrast, vivid, undertones, tint, romantic, subtle, soft fade, retro and film negative. It's also got a standard tripod mount socket and LED flash that also serves as a filming light, making the macro mode especially useful for things like product photography. All in all, the Heyday is a rare off-brand camera that actually delivers on all of its box promises and actually exceeds many of them. So long as you don't go in expecting big-buck modern mirrorless results, it is a surprisingly versatile pocket camera that works great in travel situations where you don't want to risk losing a pricey or carrying a bulkier setup. That fixed f1.8 lens could actually work in a street photography setting. The only downfall I encountered in my time with the little Heyday is the realization that it is likely returned to stores and scores thanks to something as simple as a battery that fits into the slot perfectly in either direction.